Hello and welcome to Kelly Loves K-Pop. I'm Kelly. I do tarot-oriented K-pop, Korean entertainment-oriented readings. I do oracle, tarot, kind of whatever suits the situation. All my readings are for entertainment purposes only, so please don't take them too seriously. But if you'd like to make a request, feel free to leave one in the comments. I will always get back to you guys there. I read every single comment you guys leave me, so please do. Today we're gonna do a big reading, huge reading, one I get asked for quite a bit, and I'm really grateful that all the stays enjoy my channel so far. We're gonna do every Stray Kid member's personality reading. So this is gonna be a long one, guys. I will try to put timestamps in this so you can jump to your favorite members. You can skip around as much as you need to because this is gonna be a long one. I did do an old, let's see, I think I've done Chan and Hyunjin's personality readings before. I think they were back before I was on YouTube. They're in my Tumblr blog, which I'll have the link to in the description, where I was just reading in text and taking photos of the spreads. So we'll do updated because, people grow and change, and these readings only do I only do 6 card draws, so you're getting very small amounts of their personality. So I don't mind doing them periodically to kind of expand on the old readings. So we're going to go ahead and do Chen first. I think I have my list in age order. So Mr. Chen, who gets his ideal partner reading is probably my most popular video on this channel. So thank you guys for checking that out. I'll link that in the cards. It should be up in the top right hand corner for you guys somewhere around now. But don't click it yet. Stick with me right now. It's all right, Chen. Let's see how this reading compares to his previous. Okay. Feeling like I'm getting to know him quite a bit with these readings. Prince and King. That's pretty strong right there. Okay. So let's start with, I generally will read the cards and kind of give my impressions on him as we go, whatever comes through. So Rebel in the Light is challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. So that sounds like Chen, and that pretty much I think is the motto for Stray Kids in general, is to reject the status quo. So it's not a lie, it's who he is. I think anybody who's a fan already knew that. Midas, miser in the shadow attribute, is hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. He may feel like his time is limited in the spotlight for whatever reason. And some people just, until you feel like you have a long-term career, you do worry about like long-term effects. So, that could be a bit of a deep-rooted concern for him, that he needs to make all his money now. Like this is his chance. He's not going to waste it kind of feeling. Prince in the Light is romantic charm and potential for power, which in his ideal partner reading certainly came through. Beggar in the Shadow is dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. So sometimes he may have more strength in a group situation. And I actually get this card for quite a few group leaders. And I used to think it was more like they felt overwhelmed, but I'm starting to feel like more like this card represents just like that part of them that, that's your job, is to delegate other things to other people. And his job as a leader has grown so much that it has become a part of who he is. It has become a part of how he identifies himself. It's no longer just a job. It's like the leader of Stray Kids is an identifying factor in his own self view, right? How he views himself. So that's like become a personality aspect. So let's see, the eternal child in the shadow is inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. Again, he, as much as I was like, oh, this card's changed, this card's kind of telling me maybe I wasn't so far off too. But sometimes cards also have multiple meanings, and not a lot of times I'll read a lot of different things out of a single card, so that's not unusual either. But yeah, I think he's the type that is brave in a group, you know, and not just in his work, but, you know, he may be a little, you know, more mouthy when he knows he's got his friends to like back him up. I mean, if he's got this rebel aspect, he's got you know, this thing in him that likes to push limits, but he may feel like he can get away with more when he's like with people, you know, with his crew. So, you know, he may have a little bit of a, like I said, that rebellious streak may come out of his mouth a little bit. And then the king and the light is enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. So again, so as much as the beggar is like, he depends on help, those people that help him get things done, he's good to those people around him. He definitely is. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a little bit of cough, so if you see me jump cutting, it's because I am coughing, and that's why I'm drinking my drink to try to soothe my throat a little bit with all this talking. It's good, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of talking in this video. So yeah, he's a good leader. He definitely respects his crew. He feels brave when they're around. Really the only thing in this reading that could be taken as a concern is just that he may not be taking their money and using it for like investing it. He may be worried in like saving all that money somewhere where it's not like growing his businesses. He may not be venturing anything with that money. You know, I know a lot of idols, they invest, they buy businesses, they buy buildings, you know, they invest that money for future things. And he may be worried that he doesn't know what's coming down the line, so he's just holding on to that money. And it could be something that is destructive for him later down the road. So I'm hoping Stray Kids has a long career, and it's just a concern that won't hurt him in his later years, but it is something that in the business he's in, it would be better for him if he made that money work for him. So, but there's a lot of people like that, you know, that's very almost like an older generation way of thinking, is that you don't invest it, you like hold on to it, you have to see it and have it be tangible. But okay, so that's my drawing for Chan. Again, like I said, he's a good benevolent leader, but he definitely likes to push the envelope. He doesn't like to do things in the way that everyone else does. So that's very congruent with what we've drawn on him in the past. So the next reading will be Lee No, or Minho, as I usually know him. When they started calling him Lee No, I got very confused. I watched their debut variety show, but then everybody kind of changed names after debut, and I was like, oh, I'm so confused now. I don't keep up with them as much because I'm more of a hottest. I'm more of like a 2 p.m. Fan, but I do like to just know that they're okay. You know, I know who they are. I watch their videos when they come out. I like to make sure that they're doing well, like a younger sibling. The Scorpio of the group, we know. Okay, now we got Queen and Femme Fatale. Interesting. So, servant and the light attribute is a delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. So he's a very kind natured person. The healer card also kind of gives us that. Radiance regal feminine, uses benevolent authority to protect others. So he's definitely like, you know, an older brother who looks out for the younger members. I think that's partially his role in the group. I don't actually know that. That's just what I'm getting from the cards. Healer in the light is passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, spirit, ability to help transform pain into healing. So again, we're seeing he's a nurturer, he's a caretaker, he looks after people younger than him. Divine child in the shadow is inability to defend oneself against negative forces. Again, this may be he has a bit of a what's the word, like my drama people know what I mean when it's like a noble idiot. I'm not calling him stupid by any means. It's like an actor's trope where they kind of always sacrifice themselves for the better of other people, right? He'll kind of like put his needs last, you know. In fact, he may just overexert himself on a regular basis to not let other people down. Father in the shadow is dictatorial control. That was a word choice. Abuse of authority. And it could be that happens when he gets worn too thin, that he gets himself burnt out to a limit, and then he kind of explodes, and then he has to like regroup. He may just still have to learn where his limits are as far as that. But I think his intentions are always to help others. He just forgets about himself and doesn't like that he has limits in these kind of things. You know, when you're young, you think you're invincible. You think you can just run yourself into the ground and you'll just repair every time. So we have femme fatale in shadow is inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. This is probably more to do with his actual romantic relationships. He may be interested in people, in partners, I should say, more for like their status and wealth, more so than romance. And that doesn't make anybody a bad person. It's more just like that's what he wants. I mean, at this stage, you know, again, he's young. He may be just super influenced by that kind of thing. It may be something that, you know, eases his mind because in his you know, vacation, a lot of people are after you for your status, you know, so he may also be wanting someone who that's not a concern because they're of that status, you know what I mean? So that attachment to money and power may just be that you have to you know, be in the circle that he's from to get his attention. So, and that's what I have for Lino. Just a very good-natured person. Just needs to look out for overexerting himself until he breaks down. I don't know if he has any issues with like anxiety or exhaustion, but he's definitely one to watch out for. Make sure that he takes care of himself properly. I don't know. I usually don't like to diagnose anyone, but like I'm getting the feeling like also make sure that he's not having some kind of issues with food as far as like not eating properly. I just get this feeling like that's something he may have issues with. So, you know, if you guys look after him, make sure he sleeps, make sure he eats, make sure he just tries to be as healthy as he can. That's a low-key concern I have for him. All right, so we have Changbin is the next one. The dark, mysterious Leo of the group. What an interesting character. I'm always curious about him because he seems to have such a duality, right? You know, he seems like he always wants to say positive, kind things, but then supposedly is really into like dark horror tropes kind of stuff. So I'm curious. There's a lot of people like that though. That is a legitimate personality type. But I find, I don't know if it's just me, but the Leos I know tend to be a little bit contrarian. So if everyone's into one thing, they want to be into something else super edgy. They're edgier than everybody else. So, all right, Changbin, tell us about yourself. Let's see. So we got some of Chan's stuff in reverse here. That's really interesting. Right, he can be like the other side of Chan's coin. So slave in the light is surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. So this sounds like he knows what he wants. He goes after it. He feels like his path is destined, or that he is very familiar with what he views as his destiny, and he's just going for it. Exorcist in the shadow is fear of facing your own demons. Again, a lot of people who are kind of attracted to darker things, it's because they've been through some darker things that they have to face. So he may have some shadow work that needs to be done. A mentor in the shadow is inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instructions. This could be a couple of things. I do think he has a strong competitive streak. I think he has this need to like be the best. So I don't think he's the type that is really into being like a teacher or a mentorship role. He's too competitive for that. You know, he's like, I want, you know, I'm not giving you the secret. This is my secret. I'm good at it. I learned it on my own. If you want to figure it out, you're going to have to figure it out on your own. I get that vibe. Beggar in the Light is confirms empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humanity, compassion, and self-esteem. Self-esteem for sure. Self-esteem for sure. Like I said, I think he has that competitive streak. He feels destined in his calling, like he's like supremely chosen, and he's got that confidence to it. And if he doesn't, he would never show you. King in the Shadow is excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. Again, yeah, I think he really enjoys that like power, not authoritative power, but you know, feeling like he's a master at his craft, right? Like that cockiness. That's what I view. That's, even if he doesn't, like I said, I feel like he has a little bit of a duality where he doesn't always show it. Like he kind of knows where that line is, but in his ego really loves it. Really that Leo ego is just eating it up. Thief in the Shadow is stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. So this is like surrounding yourself with people who do the things you're not good at, right? It's like knowing the type of team you need to cover your weaknesses, right? So again, I think he doesn't like to show weakness. I don't think he likes to fail, you know? So I think the people he keeps in his like close crew are the people he knows are good at all the things he's not good at. And that could be in his friendship circle. It could be in the, you know, in the group when, cause was it him, Han, and Chen that has Sriracha, right? And it could be something like that. Like he views those two as like, again, he had the two reverse of chance, so he may see what he lacks in them, you know, and he keeps them close. And it could be something like that. So, yeah, I think, you know, we see, like I said, he's definitely seems like he's goal oriented. He feels very validated in his choice and his path, and he's very ambitious. I think he just has to worry about being a little over ambitious for the sake of self-detriment, where he might put other people off because he doesn't want to share some of his knowledge, right? He may be a little self-isolating in those ways. But otherwise, that's what I have for Changbin. Next is Hyunjin, and he's one of the ones where, like I said, it's on the old blog in the Tumblr. You'd have to go on the Tumblr to find that. I can't link it right now in any of the cards. I might be able to link it in the description. I'll see if I can't put his and Chan's links in the description for those who want to see the old readings on him. Last time I saw him being like really into his androgynous looks. Like I think he in the last readings he was really into that. I think we haven't seen any of that change, but we'll see it in the personality reading. And he likes to be like baby boy. He likes to be like well taken care of by other people. I've seen a couple of that, a couple of times that's come up with stray kids. And it could just be that like in their company that they're kind of the youngins that get taken care of, but some of them it's also like more in their friendship circles and romantic circles that they like to be the receiver of gifts and, you know, taken care of. So let's see how Hyunjin comes up in these. Okay, no. That's too many. That's too many. No. Hyunjin, come on. Help me out here.
Hyunjin. Gambler. Magical child. Divine child. Beggar. And lover.
Okay. This beggar card seems to be a streak that is a common thread in them. Alright, so yeah, he only has one reverse card. Alright, student in the light is humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. So he may be bookish. I mean, that's good. Being open to constantly learning is only going to help him in the long term. Gambler in the light is willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. That feels like I might have gotten something similar to that before again, where he's very like I said, I think he does have an intuitive streak, and trusts his own gut feelings. All right, magical child. Pessimism, depression, disbeliefs in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. He might feel defeated. He may be one of those like easily defeated, like, oh, I can't do it, it doesn't matter. Like if he doesn't see an immediate change in things, he may be the type that gives up. You know, like, and it could be to do with this student thing. Like sometimes a lot of people, they keep going into different fields because like, oh, I tried that, I wasn't immediately good at it, and they give up and they try something else. Like, you see Pisces. It could be that. I know that's usually an air sign thing. I should have looked up what his moon sign was and I didn't. But he might have a bit of that air sign energy, and probably his Mars or his Mercury, where his moon or his Mars, I'm sorry, where he gives up. He tries a lot of things, but if he's not good right away, he probably tends to give up on them. Divine child is innocence, purity, and redemption. Suggests a special connection with the divine. Again, this is probably with that gambler thing where he feels like he has a pretty good gut feeling about a lot of stuff, and you know, when he gets a feeling, like, you know, intuitively he'll pursue that. Beggar, light attribute. Confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival. Awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Yeah, that first sentence really hits me for him. Is confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival. Again, this is like a lot of things, like he likes to be kind of immediately good at something. And I think he finds like a lot of his self-value in what he's good at, you know, what he has to offer outwardly to other people. But more so like with his talents, with being artistic or dancing and performing, songwriting, singing, this kind of thing. I think his self-worth is attached to those things. Like, what does he create? What will he be remembered for? I think is kind of like his mentality there. And that, like I said, that builds his self-esteem. The more he's recognized for being good at his, you know, artistic abilities or physical abilities, the more it empowers him and more confidence he has. But I think that's with a lot of people. I think that's very common. The lover and the light attribute. Great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. Again, he can be like super attached. I don't want to say loyal because that's like a kind of a different thing, but like, again, with that student, remember how I was saying that he may dive into something, but if he's not immediately good at it, he jumps ship. Well, if he is, he probably gets extremely dedicated to whatever that is. It's like, you know, like hyper fixation of the week, you know? I think he can, once he decides he's into something, he's into it. Like hell, high water could not pull him away. Wild horses could not pull him away, you know what I mean? So, and it could be the same too. When he finally finds someone he's into, that'll be it. He may be very much a love at first sight kind of person. So, It's good. He doesn't back down from a challenge. He has really good intuition. I think his problem is just he may give up on some things too easily. I think sometimes he needs to learn a little more patience with himself. But that'll probably come with age. Again, all of Stray Kids are very young, so I have a lot of hope that, you know, they're going to evolve. They're going to change. They're going to grow. So that's what I have for Hyunjin. Yeah, it seems, and even from the last reading, it seems like he's growing up quite a bit pretty quickly here. Next we have Han, or Jisung, right? Calling him Han also feels weird. But we'll do Han. Trying to see how long this video. And we're almost at 30 minutes already, and I still have, what, 3 more to do, so this is going to be almost like a 45-minute video. Alright. Han! Alright, so, Han! Stray Kids Han, tell us about yourself. He just seems like the sweetest, cutest person, but that could just be like some of my friends rubbing off on me with the way they tweet about him.
Artist, mediator, child of nature, the hermit, the detective, and the king in reverse.
Again, I think that Sriracha group has a whole thing of like covering for each other, like intentionally specializing in things the others don't. Like that just feels like an active thing that they do. All right, so artist in the light is expressing dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. So I always get, whenever I get this card, I always feel like that means this person would be in the arts regardless. If they are getting paid or not, he'd probably be that person that was still writing songs in his basement. He'd still be playing instruments. He'd still be doing something in music, even if you didn't pay him. That's just that's who he is. Like, down to his bones, he's an artist. The mediator in the shadow is negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. When I see this, this is business to me. Again, he'd be an artist. So to him, the art isn't what drives him in this. He'd be doing art regardless. I think his thing with the ulterior motives is that I think he understands the business, but I think he plays dumb. Like for her to manipulate the industry. And when I say that, manipulate, like I think when he signs contracts, he understands a lot more, and I think he can push for more rights, for more benefits in his contracts. But I think he may hide that from other people for his own protection. So yeah, I think I don't know if he's going to business school or his family is in business and he's been around it, but he understands more about the business and about contracts than he lets on. So he's got something he hides from everybody else when it comes, like he's got like an ace in his pocket is more so how it is. Let's see, child of nature in the light. Friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits. He's an animal person. I can see that. If he doesn't have pets already, if he didn't grow up with pets, he's gonna have pets. He's a pet person. He loves animals. I think they help him balance himself emotionally. Hermit in shadow is withdrawals from society out of fear and negative judgments from others, refusing to help those in need. He may be an introvert. Like, I think he comes off as very happy-go-lucky, but he probably needs a lot of alone time to, like, recharge. Actually, you really get the feeling like half of Stray Kids are pretty introverted when it comes down to it. But I think especially, like, him, that's a strong personality aspect for him. Detective in the shadow is voyeurism, falsifying information. I think that goes with this card. There's either a strong business side to him, or there's an aspect too that he doesn't talk about too often, either from his history or for his what he's interested in his future. He may be the type that is an artist, so what he's doing as an idol isn't to pursue an idol career, maybe to learn how to work in this industry in the future, to start his own label, to do his own business deals. He has a bigger plan than he tells people, and he may not even fully understand it yet, but it seems like he's just taking notes and he's saving them for later. It's like he understands something. He just connects the dots very easily. King in shadow, right? It was in shadow. Excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. I don't think he actively goes out to be like the leader of a situation, but again, like I feel like he's got plans to be much bigger than he is, like more powerful in like a business sense. So that like rulership without restraint, again, it's like he's taking notes, he's watching, and I mean he may have like real receipts on dirty things going on. He's just saving them for a rainy day when he needs them later. Like yeah, he has more going on underneath the surface than he shows. So again, it's like he's doing something, like he's secretly amassing some kind of power. But yeah, but he loves what he does. He loves art, and I think for the most part what I can tell is that this is where he wants to be right now. He would be very honest if he didn't want to be here, but this is where he wants to be. So that's what I have for Han, for Mr. Jisung. And then I have Felix. Okay, so Han is a Virgo. Felix is a Virgo. I see Seungmin is a Virgo. There's a lot of earth energy. And what I can tell you in groups with a lot of earth energy is a lot of people having their own idea of the way things should be run. So these are the three that probably butt heads the most. Their moon signs could affect quite a bit, but I'm telling you, as someone who also lives with a Virgo parent, Virgos like things their way. They very much have their own way of doing things, and they think they know best. Whether you push that on other people or not, it, depends. But every Virgo I've ever met has a very strong line of how they think things should be done. If you're a Virgo and you don't have strong opinions on the way things are run, please tell me in the comments. I'd love to meet other types of Virgos. Okay, Felix. I can feel there's a lot of people waiting on this one. Okay. Anybody else familiar with the Glico-men in Japan? Like every time I see this, that's what I think of. The Glico-men. Alright, Liberator. Light attribute. Freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. So he definitely has good mental practices to like not get stuck in negative cycles. Mentally, he seems to like understand. I don't know if he's into therapy or he's just into self-help or he's just naturally more positive, but he definitely is really good about letting go of like negativity. Maybe he understands that less internet, less reviews, he probably doesn't concern himself with those things as much for his own mental health because he understands. The hero in the light attribute is a passion for a journey of personal empowerment. Again, he may be very big into like self-help, self-empowerment practices, books, you know, meditation, that kind of thing. Destroyer in the shadow is intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. I don't see him doing this in any malicious fashion. He could just be like a much more like realistic kind of person. You know, the person that's like, sometimes you need someone who's not afraid to give you like that tough love and tell you when, you know, that dream is outside of your realm of possibility, right? He may be that person that's like, maybe you're dreaming too big. Maybe you need to try a couple steps before you run. Like he's that person. He may just, he has probably like a frankness to him that the other members don't. Athlete in the light, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps. Development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Again, that's like all three of these cards again. This is like he's very in tune and into his mental health and protecting his mental health and his natural like positive energy. It's sacred to him. He works really hard on preserving it. Mediator in the light is gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. So again, maybe in tandem with this card, that he's very much that person that sees things from a clear perspective and isn't afraid to tell the person who's in the wrong, tell people who are misreading a situation when they're misreading it. Like again, he has a frank side to him, a very unabashed, like realist approach to things. So yeah, I think he's that person that is really good about like getting in the middle of two sides and sorting out the truth or sorting out what's practical in the situation. So then we have the Hermit in the light. Seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life and serves personal creativity. So he's the type, he's not really a hermit in the way what was a Han is. He just, you know, when he needs to focus, again, I feel like this is like meditation. When he needs to focus on something or he needs to go do something, he backs away and he can focus on it until he's done, and then he comes back. So it's like being a hermit when you need to, not because you've overloaded yourself or you're overstimulated. This is like using it as a tool, right? So when he needs to cut everything off, he will. Like I said, when he needs to cut off the internet and the reviewers and then the trolls, like when he needs to go focus on what he needs to do, he does that. He's very good at that. He has a very strong mental state from what I see. At least I think that realistic side of him understands when he takes on too much, and he just makes sure that he does it. So that's what I see for Felix. I think he's very honest about what he needs to do to better himself and keep himself in check. And he's very realistic, and he doesn't try to bite off more than he can chew, and he tries not to let other people around him also overshoot, which I think actually probably really helpful for his group, because I think he has a couple people in there that do tend to bite off more than they can chew because they have really big dreams. So he's like the one that's like, no, wait, let's rethink this just a little. But I think that's Felix's role. So, all right, Seungmin, the third and final Virgo in this group. Okay, this reading has been going on for a while. Anyone who's still with me, I really appreciate you guys. Hope you're enjoying it so far. We're gonna break into Seungmin's reading now. Seungmin and Jongin left. So Seungmin.
Okay.
Interesting. He's got a really interesting layout of cards. Okay. And he's actually one I don't know that much. Probably the one I know the least the least about. So King in the shadow is excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. Again, but for him, I feel like this is more like he has ambitions, but he's not sure how to go ahead with them. I feel like he may have a bit of a stunted feeling of how to proceed with what he really wants to do. Servant in the shadow is using a lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Again, like he feels kind of stuck. I'm getting this really like kind of stagnant energy with him. Priest also in the shadow is violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting, he has ambitions. He wants to do things, like not even just musically or professionally, but like, and also in his community. I think he wants to kind of be a name, be somebody that people look up to, but he's just not feeling like either he knows how to do that yet, or what he's tried has not worked for him yet. Shapeshifter in the light is skills at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. Again, I think he has a lot of dreams. He has a wide range of like things he really wants to do. He's kind of like one of the people that's like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of person. Again, we got the destroyer in the shadow. Intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams and potential. I almost don't see this as others. I see this as him. I really don't see him going out his way to hurt other people. I think he actually has a problem with self-sabotage and a little bit of like lack of confidence in himself. Victim in the light is also prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. This card, because I don't think he fits the shadow where he's like throwing a pity party for positive feedback, but I do think he's like, the title of this card and this imagery is really what's standing out, is that I think he's stuck. I don't think he knows really where he wants to go, or he knows what he wants to do, but he doesn't know how to get from point A to point B. It feels like if he's trying, he's not getting there. So like with the shapeshifter, he's trying many different things. I just think he hasn't spent enough time studying. He probably is interested in too many things, and he needs to narrow it down to focus heartily on one area, but I don't think he understands that yet. I think he lets himself get kind of pulled into a bunch of areas, and he's just not sure yet on where to go, and it's just leaving him feeling kind of lost. But I do think he has big dreams as far as, you know, entertainment, as being a pillar of his community, of doing more. Like he definitely wants to be, and it could be just that he is doing those things, but he doesn't see it. Like it's not getting back to him, the changes he's making in people's lives. But I do think he wants to be a person that is remembered for making a positive impact in the world. So I think as he gets older, he'll figure that out. I know he's one of the younger guys. He's got to be, what, 20? If he's 20. So I just think this is a problem of youth, a problem of like connections he hasn't built up yet. And probably a little bit of like insecurity when he measures himself to other members of his group or people in his company even. It could be a lot bigger than just Stray Kids. This could be just like he's in a big four company and he probably feels like he should have more connections to do more things that he's just not, you know, like kind of reality is setting in that he's not getting those. He has to go out and still make those himself. So I think he's got to take the time just to reevaluate how he wants to go about those things, because what he was doing in the past is not working. It's not benefiting for him. So, yeah, very much jack of all trades, master of none. I think he needs to just hone it in a little bit, refine his searching a little bit, and he'll get there. He'll get there. But he's got right now, I think he's letting it, like almost the opposite of Felix, like he's letting it like mentally get to him a bit, and he needs to just like take his time off. And it could be that this is because of this whole last year, right? Like it just, the timing sucks. That it's really affecting his view of himself. But it could just be that, like, because right now no one is really getting anything done, you know. Unfortunately, the plague has hit and kind of stalled everyone's forward progression. So it could just be he's feeling that more than other people. He could just be that he's really feeling the struggle with that. So I don't know, send him some love. I think he needs it. I think he needs to feel some appreciation and showing him like the difference he is making in the world, and that you know, people do notice him. Okay, Jongin, I.N, this little baby Aquarius. Okay, what is it with Aquarius maknaes? I swear I can name you like 4 or 5 just off the top of my head. It's like they tend to have Aquarius as the youngest member of groups. I don't understand. It's like, who was it? Like Shinhwa, 2PM, Monsta X, Stray Kids. Oh my god, I'm sure there's more. That's just like literally me not even thinking. They're all Aquarian maknaes. Ooh, okay. All right, I.N. I've done some readings on him before too, and he definitely likes. Woo. Also likes being taken care of, but that's kind of his role, isn't it? Is to be taken care of. So, but he likes gifts from what I've read in the past. Let's see if that's just something in the blog. If it's in the blog, I'll also link it in the description. Well, okay. Okay. One more card. Jongin, let's go. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, this is the same. Okay, so companion, light trap attribute, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. So yeah, he is a very loyal friend. Loyalty is very high for him. Avenger in the light is desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. Again, he has like a really good, strong sense of wrong and right, and, you know, being that light you want to see in the world. Yeah, he's definitely got a, you know, it's kind of like that works in tandem with Chen's like rebel. It's like, but rebel with a cause, you know? So Judge in the light is balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. Again, this huge sense of like what's wrong in setting. Again, this also feel like this is very Aquarian in nature too, is like setting things right. You know, when I can get to the level, I'm gonna make sure like I help people or like spread the word of what I deem as like the right way to be. Like kind of feel like that. Set society right. Damsel in the light is understanding the nature of healthy romance, inspires you to rely on yourself. So this is about self-love. So he's very confident in who he is. He feels good about himself. I got in the past readings too. I guess he was very like happy-go-lucky. He's like, it's fine. You know, I'm cool. His energy is very that. God in the light attribute is benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. Again, yeah. He's very much like, you know, the divine, the source, the God has a power or has a plan for me, and I'm doing it. Like, you know, like I said, he's comfortable. He's set like in his view of the future. Hedonist in the light, and he got all upright cards. I rarely see that. A light attribute is inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. Again, this is very self-love in this one. He's a good friend. He won't steer you wrong. You can trust him. He's loyal. I mean, he got really, really positive attributes. He's just like a little pillar of strength for people. You know, he's just loving life. He's living his best life. He's just going with the flow, having a good time, trying to do right by people, trying to be there for his friends. Yeah, he's just a very sweet boy from what I could tell. You know, he's just good-hearted, good-natured. You know, he don't sweat the small stuff. He's just there to make everything easier, from what I can tell. Whew. Oh my goodness. I normally do a reading. I guess I'll go ahead and do it. But man, this reading's already long, so I guess stick around if you want to see a very small future of Stray Kids, you know, State of the Union style reading real quick. Just like a current energies thing. Seeing where they're at, seeing how they're doing. Breaking out my new Antique Anatomy Tarot. Well, first time doing a reading with them. You guys will be along on my journey in learning pip cards, because I'm used to scenic minors. If you don't know what that is, it's just where the numbered cards are. In this deck, they're just like the number of the suit of their wands or coins or whatever, whereas in a scenic minor, they will actually have a scene as if like in a painting, right? That is way too many cards. All right, so Stray Kids, how are you guys doing?
How are Stray Kids doing? Okay. Judgment. 2 of Cups. 4 of Wands. The 8 of Swords. Okay.
All right, so what I'm seeing for Stray Kids. Let me make sure these are all nice and visible for you guys. Immediately I get this feeling it's about Kingdom. I feel like they're going to win over a lot of good public recognition. A lot. I'm seeing 2s, which is like energy of like conjoining, and it's about cups and coins, which is like about emotions and money, and they're both connected to Judgment here. So that's telling me that they're gonna win over hearts and they're gonna make some money. So this and this is like in the public eye, so I think that's gonna be really, really good for them. Not saying they're gonna win. That might be another reading, but as of right now, they'll definitely gain public favor. And again, the 4 of Rods, this is going to be at home. This is like in their element. They're very comfortable. As far as like creatively, I think mentally they do have a little bit of like, I think they're going to have a lot of rules they don't like to have to like play by. It's going to be a very structured show, and it probably will be harder because of the pandemic. I can hear like cars speeding by outside. I think it'll be made harder by the pandemic. So there may be just like a lot of concerns of how they're going to be around that many people, how they're going to kind of continuously work, what's going to go on. But they're in their element. Like creatively, this is like they're excited to do that. But I just think the show, or just like how they're actually going to like work it out, as in working with outside of the home, is what's stressing them out. So we have, this is what, the 9. Again, this is like getting wish fulfillment. So like, yeah, like they're a little nervous about how it's going to happen, but overall, like they wanted to do this. Like they very much like probably got offered and didn't even have to think about it. It was like, I want to do it. The Emperor is like that really, I don't want to say, I mean, it is structure, but it's like that also creation in like the house, living in the house that you built. Like, again, like I feel like they're being asked to do basically what they do with some new issue, you know, some new questions about how it's going to be run. But as far as like what they're in charge of, I think it is going to be a lot. It's going to be very strenuous. yeah, like working with others. Finding the balance, like working with others, is going to be where the burden lies. We got the Six of Swords. That's like communication. And then the Ace of Swords in reverse. So yeah, there might be communication issues. You know, this is like, I don't know if it's because they are going to have to do their parts separately. Like, you know, usually on a show, everyone kind of comes together and performs on the same stage, and there may be issues where they're doing it separately, right? Like they're all in different, like their own places. You know, they're not like recording with the other groups all the time, or they're not like they're not in front of the judges or something. Like there's a separation, and it's like a burden with communication, not with performance. Performance, they're good. It's communication that they're not quite sure. But I do think they're gonna have a great time doing it. The public's gonna love it. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a lot of work, but and there's still some technical difficulties they're figuring out. But I think they're ready. Like, I think they feel good. Like they're hyped to do this. So I think they really, really, really want to show the public what they can do, and I think the public is going to eat it up. So hopefully everything works out well with Kingdom. Like I said, there's some technical difficulties here, but I think otherwise things look good for them. Things look really good for the immediate future, and I'm wishing Stray Kids the best. If you stayed this long, like please hit the like button. If you enjoyed this reading, please visit my Ko-fi page and leave me a tip. Also, if you'd like to make a request, anyone who tips, you're going to get to the front of the line. I have over 100 requests I'm doing right now. The list keeps getting longer every day. So paid readings will take priority. So tips really will get you further ahead if you're looking to get a reading done. But otherwise, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a lovely day. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.